Alright guys, in this video we're going to take a look at pipes, which are ways to format some of the data in our template. Alright, now you can create your own custom pipes as well, but in this video we're going to just take a look at some of the pre-made pipes that are available by default with Angular. So I'm in my users component.html file in the template, and we're going to go to the user first name and last name, and the first pipe we're going to look at is uppercase. And it does just that. It will change the text to uppercase. And the way that we use a pipe is we go right after the value we want to use it for inside the double curly braces, and we put a pipe character, which is right under your delete key. So hold shift and hit that, and then we just want to say uppercase. And we'll go ahead and save. And now you'll see that the first name is all uppercase, and there's also a lowercase, so I'll do that with the last name and save, and now the last name is lowercase. And obviously this is very ugly and you wouldn't do this, but it's just an example. And like I said, we're going to clean all this stuff up after. Alright, so what I want to do now is I want to look at some of the other pipes, but first I want to just add a couple fields to the interface, the user interface, which is in the models folder, and then user.ts. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a balance. So we'll make that optional. So we'll say that this is a balance that the user owes, and this will be a number. And then I also want to do a registered, which will be like the join date. Make that optional as well, and we'll put any for that because I want to put a date in it. And then we'll save. Alright, and then we're going to go to our users component TS file and just add some of this stuff for these users. So for John Doe here, we'll go ahead and we'll say balance, and we'll set that to 100, and then I'm going to set registered, and we're going to set that to new date, and in here we're just going to put, we'll say 01/02/2018, and then we'll also put a time. We'll say 08/30/00. Alright, and then what I'll do here is I'll just copy the balance and the registered, and I'm going to go down to the next user and add that in. Let's say balance 200. We'll change the date up. We'll say 3/11/2017, 6/20. Alright, and then we'll go to the next user. And we'll say balance 50, registered on 11/2/2016, and we'll say 10/30. Alright, so now we have a number field and a date field to work with. So we're going to go back to the HTML, and the next one I want to look at is currency. Okay, so for currency, we want to add our balance. So we're going to add an extra list item. So li is going to have a class of list group item, and we're just going to say balance user.balance. Alright, so we'll save that. We get 100, 250. Now I want to format this as currency, so we're going to put a pipe in here, and we're going to say currency. And let's save that, see what we get. So what it gives us by default is it adds 2 decimal places. It also puts the USD money sign in front of the number. Now you might not want USD, you might be working with in another country, so what you could do is you could add a parameter to the pipe by putting a colon, and then we'll put some quotes here, and we'll say this is going to be GBP, and save, and you'll see the symbol automatically changes. Now in some cases you might not want to use the symbol, you might want to use just the actual code. So to do that, we could put another parameter by putting another colon and just putting in here code and save, and now it gives us the actual code. And you can also either leave it how we had it or put in symbol if you want the symbol back. Alright, so that is currency. Next one I want to look at is date. So we're going to put in another list item. Whoops, that should be li dot. Why is that not working? There we go. All right, so let's say joined, and then we're going to put in our registered. So user dot registered, and save. And by default, the date just looks horrible. You're not going to want this. So this is a case where you'd want to use the date pipe. So let's put that in and save. And it looks good by default, January 2nd, 2018. But you can format this in many different ways. So of course we can put our colon in, and we could pass in like mm/dd/ and then 4y's and save. And we can format it like that. If we wanted to do just a year, we could just do 4y's. So now we just get 2018, 2017. We also have things like short date, which gives us the 1/2/18. We could do long date, gives us January 2nd, 2018. We can do full date, which also gives us the day of the week. And if you want to just deal with the time, you could do like short time and save. So you can see 8:30 a.m. You could do, I think there's a long time as well. So that gives you like the time zone, the AM and PM and so on. But I'm just going to put this back. I'm just going to get rid of the parameters and just use date. But you can go to the Angular documentation. I think there's a couple more date parameters that you can use to format. All right, so let's see. We also have a number pipe where we can add decimal points if we want. So just to test this out, I'm going to create another list group item. And I'm just going to put a hard-coded value in here, so I'll just put a 5. And then I'm going to put the number pipe, and we're going to say colon, and we're going to do 1.2 and save. So what this does is it just takes on the left side of the decimal, we want 1 spot, so we get 5. And on the other side, we want 2 spots, so we have 2 decimal points. Okay, if I wanted 4, I could do 1.4. If I wanted to do 2 on this side, so save that, we get 0.5. All right, so we can do that. Another one I wanted to show you is %. So what I'm going to do is go to the balance. So go right after the balance ending curly braces, and I'm going to say until, and then put in another set of curly braces, and we're going to put a 1, and then a pipe character, and then %, and save. And now you can see we get the balance, and then it says until 100%. Okay, so 1 is going to be 100%. If you wanted, for instance, 50%, you could do 0.5 and save, and then we get 50%. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the pipes. One other thing I wanted to show you before I go is a directive called ngNonBindable. And what that does is you can attach it to an element, and then anything in that element will be non-bindable. So it won't actually bind the data to the string interpolation. So let's try it on this last list item. So if we just go to the end here and we say ngNonBindable like that and save, you'll see that we no longer get the string interpolation functionality. It just actually shows us the code. And this is good if you have, like, if you were creating a blog post on an Angular and you wanted to include the actual code, you could like wrap this in a pre-tag. So we'll just let's do that, and we'll go to the end here and add on the ending pre and save. And now it's basically like we're putting the code as output. All right, so I just wanted to throw that in there. So what I want to start doing next is I want to start adding functionality to the UI, because right now it's been kind of one way. We're writing code, we're seeing the output in the UI in the browser, but now I want to start working with events and start working with, you know, forms and button clicks and being able to interact with our application through the browser. All right, so we will clean up this stuff quite a bit before we get started with that, because we're getting really cluttered here with stuff that normally we wouldn't even use. But you know, I just wanted to show you what's available and what you can do. All right, so that's it, guys. I will see you in the next lecture.